I think there's three different.
Oh, there is?
There's three acronyms.
Also, these last revisions are two different.
You look on the bottom of that page there, it's got a
Okay.
different firm.
Okay. Oh, I didn't see that, okay.
Yep. On the
Gotcha.
bottom. That's what I was just looking for.
Yeah.
when you were saying.
Now I understand.
Okay, notice for a meeting for Tuesday, December 27th, 2022, Council Chambers, Main Street, O'Connell. This is an open meeting and notice has been given to the public at least 24 hours prior to the meeting by forwarding the complete agenda to the O'Connell County Reporter. Copies of the complete agenda were available for inspection at the office of the city administrator. 6 p.m. special meeting of the regular council in the council chambers with the following agenda. Meeting called to order. Roll call.
Mayor Kennedy.
Here.
Rich Melver.
Here.
Steve Scott.
Here.
John Wickoff.
Here.
Patsy Bay.
Here.
Gene Feld. Bob McGrath.
Here.
Attorney Calvert.
Item 3, invocation of pledge of allegiance by Alderperson Patsy Bay.
Heavenly Father, I thank you for having the privilege of serving our city. I pray, Father, that as we discuss our agenda and craft policies for our city, we will always put our citizens' interests above our own. Remind us that we are in the position not to be served, but to serve. I also pray that as we approach a new year, we will uphold what is moral and rational. In Jesus' name, amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 4, approval of the agenda. Motion. Bobby, second. Butch. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion passed. Number 5, correspondence. Do we have any correspondence? Brittany?
I'll say one thing. I received an email from an anonymous person. They were upset that we're having special meetings, that you guys were getting paid more to fill your pockets. I just wanted to explain that you guys get paid no matter if we have 2 meetings, 12 meetings, 20 meetings, you get paid the same. So I just wanted to say that.
Do we have any additional questions? Okay, number 6, public input. Riley?
Hi, Riley Soul, 1240 McDonald Street. Just wanted to be here again today briefly about last week, the tabling of that comprehensive plan amendment. Just wanted to remind you guys that hopefully it was tabled so that we can dig a little bit deeper into that to do the diligence on it before making a decision, not just kick it down the road to vote later, but actually look into it a little bit. I've done that somewhat. I'd be happy. Basically, I'm requesting that an agenda item get added for the next meeting to look at the 20-year comprehensive plan, specifically the maps, the 2.1 GPD map. I have some things I personally would like to contribute as far as what that looks like involving my property and what it was at the time. Either way, since we're trying to do everything super correctly, I had noticed that the recommendation for that came from the Plan Commission. There was only 6 members on the Plan Commission at that time. By law, there's supposed to be 7. I'm not sure if that recommendation would even be valid. Which brings me to my next point, that I'm requesting that we get 7 people on that Plan Commission because I have a conditional use permit that I submitted back in July and it's yet to receive a vote on it. So I'm requesting that we do whatever we need to fill that seat to get 7 members on the board so that my conditional use permit can get seen in a timely manner. It says in the code that the mayor is supposed to do that within 60 days of Joe leaving. It's pretty clear. It also says if they don't, that the council can pick someone instead. So depending on when Joe's last day was, I'm just trying to get this board filled soon. So just keep in mind that the recommendation of the mayor's choice is supposed to be given to the council 2 days before the meeting. I'd be happy to provide the code for that, just because I'm so interested in getting this board filled to get the vote on this conditional use permit. I also have the map, the 2.1 GPD map that I would like to submit, just to show that the pertinent map in the comprehensive plan shows the properties listed as residential, which is what it was when I purchased it, and it still is. Which is why I contest that no change is needed. It's yellow on the map. The key of the map only indicates residential, commercial, industrial. It doesn't specify R1, R2. Also, right before the map in the 20-year comprehensive plan, which is again why I'm requesting that it's for review by both the council and the plan commission, whose job it is to update and review that. It says a general plan design map. It says it is important to note that the 2,025 acres is by general location and not by individual land uses or parcels. So it says right here that it's not to be done by individual parcels. I'd like to submit this page as well. These are the issues that I'm contesting don't need to be changed regarding the 20-year comprehensive plan, that recommendation that came from the plan commission. The one that Dale suggested might not be done correctly, and I, after looking into it, tend to agree with them. So I just want to make sure that we get it on the agenda. So look at the 20-year plan, look at the maps, get someone to fill that empty seat on the plan commission, and that person, because it's that commission's duty to look at and update the 20-year comprehensive plan, that we actually do that. There have been several rezones that have been done since mine, and there were no changes to the 20-year plan map on those either. So I just really wish that whoever fills that empty seat is willing to take charge on the 20-year comprehensive plan, which is a major part of the role of that body. Thank you.
Riley, let me comment on that. That spot, the 7th spot falls under my responsibility. And that's not holding up the process. Like and I would make an appointment before another planning commission meeting. But it's really, that's not holding the process up. So it's on my agenda. It's just I have to different avenues to fill that seat. So it's not going on deaf ears.
Okay, thank you.
Bobby?
I believe whether or not you have 7 people on there, you do have a quorum. Once you have a quorum, the majority will vote on it. Sometimes we don't get all of our members together, you know, for a quorum, therefore we go ahead with it.
Riley?
The city plan commission section 2-4-5, it says, the plan commission shall consist of the mayor shall be the presiding officer, the director of public services, the building inspector, 1 alderperson and 3 citizens. In the case the city does not have either of the 2 positions, additional citizens shall be appointed so that the commission has at all times 7 members.
What if somebody doesn't show up? So then what? The meeting
Then you
is-
have 60 days to fill that seat.
I'm saying, once you have a meeting, you have a quorum. Like, we only have 5 members of the city council. If you only have 6, you still have a quorum, you can go ahead with the meeting.
Yes, but you still have to have 6 people on council at all times, even if only 5 show up to vote.
Well, it takes a little bit of time, sometimes you don't get to fill the position right away, sometimes.
That's
Yeah,
why it
find
says
someone that
you have
wants it.
60 days to fill the seat.
This doesn't need to be an argument, we're working on the.
I'm not
Talked
even
about
doing
that
it.
already. We talked about it last month.
Okay, is there any additional, public input? Okay, moving on, number 7, discussion, action, recommendation on the following auditor's proposal. Brittany?
As you can see, I put 3 separate auditors' proposals that we received in your packets. I reached out to 5. 2 were unable to take on new clients, so they opted out. I also asked a bunch of municipalities who they work with, what their opinion of them are, if they have good experience, bad experience. It's a 1-year agreement, and it's the cheapest. And they've always been quick at getting back our audit. They've always been quick at responding and being very communicative with us. I received responses back from 15 municipalities, 1 for Kerber Rose, and it was -1. None for Hawkins Ash, but I know it's a smaller, I talked with our worker, Neil, she worked for CLA. She said Hawkins Ash is a lot smaller, it has less resources that can help us as opposed to CLA, that they have more avenues to be able to offer us better assistance. Most people had CLA and the reviews were really 50-50. The negative reviews were that they were too expensive and that they didn't respond in a timely manner. I haven't had that experience with them, they've always been really quick, so that's my recommendation.
Steve?
Is that the same auditing firm we used last year, correct?
Yeah.
Scott?
Yeah.
Okay. Do we have issues getting it back to us with the final crunch numbers?
Not
Because
with
I thought
the,
it took a little longer, but I don't know.
no, not with the final audit, he had sent it to us way earlier that he was able to get in here, but you're gonna get that anyway.
Okay.
I mean, when they're working, they're not gonna be going to
Right.
municipalities to present it. So we do get it sooner, and now that you guys have a little more experience with it, we can look at it sooner and go over it before he comes in, so we have a better idea sooner in the year than we did last year.
Any other questions
What's your thought on
on CLA? Well, I can tell you this, the Team Industries reviewed CLA for 35 years. I know the principal partner, personally. What she stated about resources, additional resources, they have a lot of outpost power. And I have no experience with the Hawkins Ash or Curly Rose. So I would go along with the CLA.
They're the cheapest.
Well, they're most cost effective.
I guess
They're well known, well respected. I'm just talking from a personal point of view. That's-
We need to make that motion. I'll make a motion that we go with CLA.
We have a motion by Steve, second, Bobby. Discussion. Okay, vote.
Rich Milburn.
Aye.
Steve Staff.
Aye.
John Wickoff. Kathy Bates. Bob LeBron.
Okay, motion carried. Item number 8. Well, we have a presentation here by the fire department. Before we go to closed session, we're going to call John. John? You want-
I can call him Cody. He's the
Cody,
president.
floor is yours, Cody.
All right. I'd just like to start off. I apologize for last week for some of my answers. I got kind of started with you guys. I apologize about that. What we did today, for tonight, is put together a little presentation, kind of what we are, who we are, and what we do for you guys. So, just a couple things to start out. A couple of always up to discuss. Any of the topics are: you chose this career. Yes, we did, but the times have changed. From even when we started to now, things have changed, and it's the way we've always done it. That's exactly why we're stuck in the 20 years behind the ball on our technology and that sort of thing. What we are and what we do. We are the fire and EMS provider for the city of Ocono, which comes as no surprise. The city also holds a contract with fire and EMS for the town of Ocono. We also hold the contract for EMS for the eastern half of Little River, Pensaki, and Pensaki. We provided coverage of approximately 110 square miles of landmass, as well as about 8,100 citizens. We have the Canadian National Railroad that runs through our jurisdiction north to south. We have 17 and a half miles of US 41 and 9 miles of Highway 22 that see several cars a day. Guess would be 10,000 plus vehicles between those two roadways a day. The number of people traveling contributes to accidents, hazmat incidents, medical emergencies. As well, we have the Bay of Green Bay next door to us. Our jurisdiction ends at the mouth of the river, which is right at the boat launch. We have been requested multiple times by the United States Coast Guard to respond out into the bay while they have resources heading this way. To get the ball rolling for that. Our call volume, any numbers I have in here from 2021, just because it's a complete year of data. We ran 1,584 total calls in 2021. 224 of those calls were what we call as our all calls, so we were off-duty callbacks. That means we were off duty, the pager went off, we dropped what we were doing to respond to the emergency call. Some of the things that we walked away from were family gatherings, birthday parties, events with our kids, running errands, out to dinner with our families, out to dinner with friends, that sort of thing. Who we are all friends of the community. We are family of the community, and many of us grew up in the area. We have significant community ties. We're out doing public education, public relations at the schools. That's the Ocono Elementary School in the top picture, the Alina Mennonite School out on Coney J in the bottom picture. Doing, John, correct me, you guys were doing CPR, stop the bleed, and first aid on the bottom picture. And then our public education at the schools. John, can you go back one, please? And then these are just some community engagement activities. Gospel Chapel invites us out every year because they want us present at their family fun night. Did I get the name of that correct? Yes. Family fun night. They ask for us to come every year. And then I believe that other picture would be from National Night Out in the back parking lot here. All right. Why we chose this profession. These are various responses from different members here. We get to help people. Something we all enjoy. It called to the career due to family history. Make people's day better and doing meaningful work, which is some of the few reasons that we all do what we do. Perks of the job. We get to work closely with the cops, not only the cops, but city hall staff as well, anybody in the community. The schedule allowed us time to do things outside of work, hunting, fishing, recreational things like that. Every day is different. No 2 days of coming into work are the same. I get the same thing coming in for 7:30 in the morning and having coffee in the morning, but after that, every day. Another perk is a lot of family time. That goes right in with that the schedule. We have family within the department. A lot of us actually hang out and do things together outside of work. And then ties in with the every day is different, but we have new challenges every day. We like challenges, don't back down from them, and there's something new every day. So some of the things that we do to guarantee the coverage, that there's always an ambulance available 24 hours, 7 days a week. We communicate daily. We have a group text message. We talk every day of one way or another about something. We make changes to our plans, cancel our plans, to make sure that the citizens are covered, because we genuinely care about the citizens and making sure that when they call 911, an ambulance shows up at their door. Our days off are not always our days off. That goes into the fact of us carrying a pager and with the all calls. The 224 all calls last year came out to be about every day and a half there was an all call. The contract does not say we have to do this. This is something because we care about our citizens, we want to do, and And if you put into this contract, how are we gonna be compensated for that time? So, next, these are a couple screenshots of our group message. First one on the left, we'll go left to right. The first one, somebody looking to run in some errands. Run to Green Bay and run some errands. Yep, we got people around. The next one, following up, they want to go to a doctor's appointment. And somebody asking if there's coverage so they can go to a funeral. I'm big on family. Family comes first. If you're going to a funeral, you shouldn't be worried about making sure there's coverage. You go to the funeral. The next one, somebody trying to assist a family member with some errands. Another individual pushed their plans back to accommodate that. Number 4 there, one of the guys is trying to make dinner plans and stuff changed, so he changed his plans to accommodate this. And then another one is just another example of somebody looking, I don't know, if they're doing some sort of errand or trip, just checking the availability, make sure there's coverage for that. So we do our part to make sure that there isn't second name on staff 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Some of the changes to our job, this is not all encompassing, these are just a few snapshots. COVID-19, the world was shut down. We still came to work every day. We made a lot of changes to our daily routines as far as decontaminating ourselves, our equipment, our rigs. The world shut down, City Hall was shut down, we were expected to be at work. No different than any of the healthcare facilities or law enforcement. There's no additional compensation for us in any of that. And we have the risk of bringing home that illness to our families. The other change would be hostile events, active intruders, attacks on first responders. That was kind of something that was unheard of 20 years ago. Now we're never ending being vigilant to watch out for what may or may not be out there, somebody coming at us. Drugs are worse. Chief Rayberg can attest to this. We've seen a little bit less with K9 Falco, but the opiates and carfentanil, a piece of carfentanil the size of a grain of salt is enough to kill us. So just being mindful of that, being safe. Heroin, meth, mental health. There are more and more mental health illnesses out there. Not just us, not just our community. It's everywhere. Just ballpark, when I looked it up, there's been roughly 170 firefighters that have died by suicide this year. Of those 170, I don't remember exactly, 174, I think. The average years of service was 15.02 years. So it's something that we're all mindful of is mental health. People are utilizing 911 for more and more things every day. And one person's emergency is not necessarily somebody else's. We treat everybody's emergency as an emergency, but the people call for flooded basements, animal problems, anything like that. A change, just to go with that, more people calling means our call volume is going up. Our staffing has not changed proportionally to the call volume going up. We were fortunate enough to add one position 2 years ago. But all right. This is just some of the highlights from the contract that I think there were some questions about. Contract length, 3 years. It's the most common length out there. Here's 3 different contracts, one from the city of Anago, one from the city of Beaver Dam, and the town of Grand Chute, all of which are 3-year contracts. It helps plan for the future with 3 years out, because then you guys can forecast what our wages would be over the 3 years or extras, whatever it may be. Holiday pay. Yes, we get $585 for holidays worked, $295 extra for holidays off. We are away from our families for the 24 hours. We miss out on family gatherings, meals, etc. That number this would be the 3rd contract that those numbers have not changed. We understand that there's a financial hardship in the city. All along, every year those numbers theoretically should be going up proportionate to the wage increases, and they have not. We've left them unchanged. Sick pay. We can accumulate 90 days. Accumulation occurs at a rate of 1 day per month of employment. So 6 months, you get 6 days. If you've been here for 6 years, you get 72 days. It takes 8.5 years to max out without using a single sick day. And sick days roll over year to year. That's how we get accumulation. Upon retirement, and only upon retirement, if I resign, I do not get my sick days. I have to retire. I get paid out for 45 sick days, and I can either be paid out as a 1 lump sum on a check, or it can be applied to health insurance premiums until that money runs out. Our pay, it's a 222 over the 3 years. The cost of living adjustment for Social Security was set at 8.7% for 2023. That means with, if we stay on track at the 222, by the end of 2025, we will still not be equal out to what we should be at the end of 2023. Again, we understand that financial hardship. We didn't come in asking for 8.7%. We came in asking for 3, settled at 2. And just with that, if we do settle at a 222 and the city comes in and finds some magic money tree in 2025, are you guys going to come up and renegotiate and bring us up to 4%? No, you're going to leave us at 2% because that's what we're contracted at. So, and then there's a couple of references. Some of the data. Any questions? Anybody? Thank you.
Hold on, Cody, I got a couple of questions here, and I hope that money tree comes in play here. You, on your slide there, where the 911 calls, flood basement, what, animals?
Animal problem.
Is that justify an all call? What justifies an all call? Those two situations?
What would, if I, Chief, if you want to take this one?
Situational dependent. If it's an all-call, maybe it's because their working shift is already out on a call. There is one all-call for an animal problem that I recall probably 4 years ago now. We got called out to Highway 22 on a farm for an animal that fell into the pit of a silo because they were in the process of the silo coming down, or the walls were gone, but the dugout was dug out underneath, so it was about 7 foot deep. And this animal fell in and there was 4 feet of water. So the farmer called to see if we could come out and get that animal out. It generated an all call because we had to get into hoisting and ropes and knots and getting the donkey, if it was a donkey, and getting it out of the silo. So it all depends on what exceeds the resources that 2 personnel in a truck can provide. It's not that it's necessarily an immediate all call, but a lot of things are exceeding, of 2 personnel.
Okay.
And as reference to the flooded basement, yes, that could be potentially taken care of with the shift that's working, and probably some assistance through maybe the street department with some pumps and so forth. But if in an event now another 911 call comes in, you got the generation of the all call because we got 1 crew already tied up with the flooded basement, but somebody else's emergency came in, so we got to respond to that one.
If I could just add to that too. We did get paged out a couple of years ago. Sometimes it depends on what the person calling 911 tells dispatch. We got paged out for smoke in the basement, water in the basement. What we got there, come to find out what happened was with cold temperatures, their drain that was from their sump pump to the drain off the street had frozen up. So spraying water back to their basement, which got their vacuum wet. So when they hear a noise, they come downstairs, see smoke from the electrical motor being wet, water spraying. They didn't know what we had. They called us, and we had just to figure out what it was. Just because they panicked. So we don't always decide what an all call is depending on what they tell dispatch. They're just going to call the whole department, and we don't even know what we have till we actually get on scene and assess the situation.
Our dispatchers are really great, but they're only as good as their caller. So what the information they get from their callers, they have protocols they have to follow. So that's all we get. Sometimes those all calls do get generated in that aspect.
How many people come in on an all call?
Depends on the nature of the call. If it's a second ambulance call, 2. If it's a structure fire, everybody is on a lot more.
On the structured fire, on an average, we got a total of paid on call currently of 23 members. on an average, depending on the day, the time, you may get anywhere from a dozen to maybe 18 on structure fire.
Every day and a half you get an on-call.
That, approximately, just with what the numbers were for 2021.
But that all-call could be an ambulance transfer and only 2 guys can go on that. So not every all-call is 20 guys going to the station. If they do an all-call page because the first crew is out, say you need a transfer from hospital to hospital, we only need 2 people to go. Only 2 people will respond in our system to go to that. So, but that's still 2 people coming off their days off and helping to cover.
How do they know what it is on an all-call? Do they, I don't know, you have a different number or something for a certain all-call? I mean,
Dispatch will tell us over the pager what it is.
Yeah, I didn't, obviously, with that example of the guy just got dispatched on the call, dispatch told them the Conway ambulance, their location of the call, and what the nature of the call was. So you get that information, right from dispatch.
Well, you mentioned that early in the presentation that you felt you were 20 years behind. What did you mean by that?
Just getting some of our technology, we're just now getting into the technology era in our apparatus with our having the call information right at our fingertips. That's been the technology that's been out there for 20, 25, 30 years. Chief Rivers, I can't how many of you guys have that technology in your squad cars?
15 probably?
So the police department's had that for 15 years already. We've had it for about 8 months. So that's one aspect, or one thing. The technology available in apparatus, our newest truck is 20 years old. It's a 2002. The safety equipment that's in some of the new stuff nowadays is another facet of it. It was just a broad general statement. I guess I don't have many specifics or others for that.
Steve?
So like the upgrade that we're just doing with the county right now, that would be considered the technology upgrade for you guys, right?
That'd be,
That
yeah,
we just spent that money on? For the tower they're putting up and stuff like that, so you guys get your information.
Yep, that's a step in that direction.
Yep,
Yes, absolutely. It's a bad feeling. I had a call this summer with that radio project. It's great. I had no communication on my portal on seeing a call. Dispatch is trying to ask if I'm okay, and I'm unable to transmit to him, so I had to go back to the ambulance to transfer out. Just a bad feeling.
So that'll be
That's it.
hopefully taken care of now with the.
Absolutely.
Well, great job on the presentation, by the way.
Couldn't have done it without all the guys and everything. So.
Cody, what does the union do for you as a group?
As a group,
Yeah, I mean, why, I'll be completely transparent. I mean, as the city, I mean, there's no goal for the city to see you guys fail. And, I mean, so I sit here thinking to myself, well, why do you need a union to represent you as a group? Why can't you represent yourselves?
it gives us a good backing to make sure. My goal at the end of the day, I'm very passionate about taking care of these guys. I want to make sure that they have everything possible to make them happy, healthy, and retired. So having that union backing that's got resources, questions on anything I can think of, I have reps that I can call, and just have that overall support. It is a very common practice to have any career fire department is part of the International Association of Firefighters. Very few and far between them now. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, number 7, discussion, action, recommendation of the following, well, we did that. Number 8, Okay, council may vote at approximately 6:30 PM to convene into closed session pursuant to the notice duly given and is allowed by Wisconsin statute 19.851C for the discussion on personnel matters for the following items. 2023, 2025 fire department union contract. Just hold on, before we go into closed session, I'd like to request that we do a motion to include police and fire commission president and vice chairman to be included in closed session.
No, we don't ask any motion, but just making it.
What's the reason for that? Well, they're
We weren't in with your, when you did your contract.
They're not. Council's never been involved anywhere with union contracts.
So then you should be able to do our part ourselves. too.
That's our boss.
I understand.
So I want my boss representative.
Well, I don't think they should be in closed session.
What's the consensus?
Said you wanted better communication.
I don't know, I asked for a motion.
I was last week. Transparency.
Can I say something? You as mayor have the right to decide who stays in closed session, no different than when we have a police and fire commission. If I choose to let certain people to stay in the closed session, really nobody has anything to say but like in my case, the president of the PFC, and in your case, the mayor of the city. So it's basically your call, you don't need a motion. I believe that's true.
You don't need a motion.
Yeah, according to our Bible, anyway.
Okay. Cody?
Since it's my contract, can I request that they stay as well?
Interesting question. Tell me how come.
I don't know at this point if they were gonna have you stay in closed session or not, Tony. They have a right to discuss it without you being in there also, but that's up to the mayor.
Well, I mean, yeah, you're kind of intimidating with that paw all wrapped up. I don't want you to-
Honestly, it's useless, I'm right-handed.
I'll tell you what, I'll allow you this point where we want to caucus and we'll ask you to step out. You okay with that?
Sure.
Okay, then, so, the recommendation is to go to closed session and allow Cliff, Vice Chairman Sherry, and Cody to stay. Okay, yeah, I need a motion. Steve, motion. Butch, second. Favor. Motion. Opposed? Okay, motion passed.